Hello everyone, I am Sahil Bulikal from third year IT Engineering and today I am going to talk about wireless security. I'll be covering few points on VPN and WEP. So in VPN, I'll be introducing you what VPN is, what is VPN, types of VPN, VPN protocol, VPN ka advantages and disadvantages. So VPN is virtual private network. Virtual means it is not real. The communication is virtually present, but it is not physically present. Private means that the communication is private, and the network is communication between two or more devices. So VPN is a network. VPN uses basically internet for communication. So what is VPN? VPN is virtual private network, and it is defined as a network that uses public network, that is the internet, to communicate between devices, and it maintains the security and protection of private networks. So VPN can be a combination of software and hardware that will allow mobile employees, that is employees of a company, to access its uh, data from the workplace using the internet. So it uses virtual connections. It is not a physical connection, but it uses a virtual connection. That virtual connection is very private, and it uses internet for that. I'll explain you what I mean from this diagram. Suppose we are having a branch office in India and a main office in Dubai. Suppose this branch office is Infosys office. Its main office is in Dubai, and we are having branch office in India. So the employees wants to get data from the main office. From this main office, employees wants to get data from main office to the branch office. So we can use internet for that, and also we can use lease line or private lines, but it is not possible for us to extend a line from India to Dubai, because it will cost us a lot of money and it is not feasible solution. So what we are doing is that we will use the internet for connecting these two offices, branch office in India and the other office in Dubai, because both the offices will be having an internet connection. So we'll utilize the power of internet to connect these two offices. But if you are using the internet, we know that the internet is a unsecure network, and hackers can see the data which we are passing over the internet. Hackers and ISPs can track the data and can get what we are transmitting over the internet. So that's why we are using VPN to secure our network, to secure the internet communication. So the branch office in India can access the Dubai's office data that is present in Dubai's office using the internet, but this connection will be a very secure connection because we are using VPN. Now in VPN, basically we are creating a secure tunnel. So in that tunnel, we are passing our data from branch office to the main office using the VPN client and the VPN gateway. So basically, we have to use the VPN client to connect to the main office in Dubai. And the Dubai office will be having a VPN gateway. That means this is like a client and this is a server like thing. So we are creating a secure tunnel, which you can see here. For creating that tunnel, we will be using VPN protocols. I'll be explaining that protocols later on. So now you get the glimpse of this VPN, how it is working. So when we are using VPN to send data from branch office or to get data from branch office to the main office or from main office to the branch office, vice versa, uh, we can send information through the VPN. And when we are sending this information through the VPN, hackers, ISPs can't track what we are sending the data. That means this is a private connection and it is a virtual connection. So we are using VPN to send or receive data over the internet. So now you can see in this photo, on the left hand side, our computer is present, and on the right hand side, the server, that is, for example, Facebook server is present. So using VPN, a secure tunnel is created, and we can see that hackers can't steal our data, and also ISPs can't track what we are doing on the internet, and also government can't track our personal data. So that's why we are using VPN. So the ultimate goal of VPN is to keep our private information private. So if we don't use VPN, then our data which we are sending through the internet, that will be visible to everyone. That is, hackers can see our data. And with VPN, hackers can't see our data, which we are sending through the internet. So there are two types of VPN: remote access VPN and site-to-site VPN. In site-to-site VPN, there is intranet VPN and extranet VPN. So basically, remote access VPN is used for companies and also for home users. That means home users can also use this type of VPN, that is remote access VPN, to access some unblocked content on the internet. Also, we can change our location on the internet. So remote access VPN basically is used to connect private network and access all its services and resources remotely. So this connection is very secure and private. It is also used for home users and also for business users. So for business users, if an employee wants to access his data remotely from his office, then he can use this type of VPN, that is remote access VPN. So now in this lockdown, employees are using this type of VPN to access their data from their office while they are sitting at home, and they can work on that data. And while working on that data, they can be rest assured that the data can't be stolen by someone, or that data can't be accessed by some unknown persons while they are sending or receiving that data on the internet. And for home users can bypass regional restrictions on the internet. For example, if you want to access content of US uh, in Netflix, if you want to access the US content, then you can use VPN to change your location from India to US, and then you can access the US content on Netflix. So this is one of the example where remote access VPN is used by the home users. And also for some privacy conscious people, privacy enthusiasts also uses VPN uh, for maintaining privacy on the internet. Now we come to site-to-site VPN. Site-to-site VPN is also called as router-to-router VPN, and it is basically used by companies. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So site-to-site VPN is basically used by companies. If we want to connect two companies, uh, two companies, we have to connect. So if we want to connect Infosys company, and also we can connect TCS company. We have two offices in Mumbai. We have TCS office, and in suppose in Kerala we have TCS office. So we can connect these two offices remotely using VPN, and by using this, we can be rest assured that the data we are sending and receiving is secure and no one can access the data. So basically we are using this type of VPN, side-to-side VPN, to connect the network of one office location to the network of another office location. So in this we have two subtypes, which is intranet-based VPN and extranet-based VPN. So in intranet-based VPN, when several offices of a same company are connected, then this type of VPN is used. For example, uh, in Mumbai, Infosys is having its office in Mumbai, and in Kolhapur, it is having its another office. So if we want to connect these two offices, if we want to uh, allow the employees of one office to connect the employees of another office, then we can use this type of VPN, that is intranet based VPN. And in extranet based VPN, we are using this extranet based VPN to connect uh, two different companies. For example, we want to connect TCS company's data with the Infosys company's data. If we want to connect these two offices, then we are using extranet based VPN. So in this extranet based VPN, basically uh, we are using two things: VPN client and VPN server. So one acts as a client and one acts as a server, and there is a router to router communication. That is why we call this type of VPN as side to side VPN. Now coming to VPN protocols, we are having four type of protocols. Uh, First one is point to point tunneling protocol, or PPTP. Second one is layer 2 tunneling protocol, which is L2TP. Third one is IPsec, which is Internet Protocol Security, and SSL, which is Secure Socket Layer. I'll be discussing in the next slide. So in the first point, point to point tunneling protocol, or PPTP. PPTP is basically used to generate a tunnel between the two offices. In this example, there are two offices: branch office in India and second main office in Dubai. So basically VPN protocol is used for creating this secure tunnel, which you can see here. So for creating this secure tunnel, VPN protocols are used. So first protocol is this point to point tunneling protocol. Point to point tunneling protocol is mostly used among Windows users. It is created by Microsoft. That's why it is mostly popular among the Windows users. So, but one of the disadvantages is that it does not provide encryption, and it relies on PPP protocol, that is point to point protocol, to implement the security measures like encryption. PPTP protocol itself doesn't support the encryption, but it relies on PPP protocol, that is point to point protocol for encryption. But the advantages is that PPTP is faster, and it is also available for Linux and Mac users. Second is layer 2 tunneling protocol, or L2TP. L2TP is often combined with the another protocol like IPsec protocol to establish a secure VPN connection. L2TP generates a tunnel between two offices. That is, in that diagram I have shown you one main office in Dubai and another office in India. So this protocol is also used for that, L2TP protocol. L2TP also doesn't provide encryption just like PPTP, and it also relies on PPP protocol, that is point to point protocol for encryption. The main difference is that PPTP provides data confidentiality, and L2TP provides both data confidentiality and data integrity. And L2TP is developed by Microsoft and Cisco combined on combination of PPTP and L2F layer 2 forwarding protocol. They have come up with L2TP protocol. So next protocol is IPsec or Internet Protocol Security. It is considered as one of the most secure protocol rather than PPTP and L2TP because it it not only encrypts the data packet but also it verifies the session of the user, and it is also used for the same thing that we have to create a VPN tunnel before any communication is taking place on the VPN network. So IPsec runs in two modes: transport mode and tunneling mode here. So the main work of mode is to encrypt the message in the data packet, and in the tunneling mode, what it does is it encrypts the whole data packet, and the transport mode encrypts only the message in the data packet, not the whole data packet. And the IPsec protocol is often used with L2TP for better encryption, for better best encryption standards. But the disadvantage is that IPsec requires expensive and time-consuming client installations. So this can be considered as an important disadvantage. So next we come to SSL, which is Secure Socket Layer. Secure Socket Layer is basically when we see the HTTPS in our web browser, in any banking site, also if you are using now Meet, so if you can see the URL bar, there it is HTTPS. That S stands for Secure Connection. That secure connection is because of SSL protocol. This Secure Socket Layer is providing us the secure connection. So this type of protocol doesn't need any software installed on our computer because the web browser acts as a client application. But the disadvantage is that only the uh, data sent from the browser is encrypted and not the whole system's data is not encrypted. For example, if you are using Chrome, then the data sent and received by the Chrome is only encrypted and not any other apps you are using on your system. They are not encrypted because it is only running on your web browser. So the advantages of VPN is that it eliminates expensive private or leased lines. That means we don't have to purchase separate physical wires or cables to connect the two companies in India and Dubai. Instead of that, we are using VPN for that. And that's why uh, equipment costs are reduced. And also we can scale easily as we don't have to use expensive private lines for new users and for new locations of the company. We can easily use the internet to connect some more companies that are there. So scalability is not an issue in VPN, and security is uh, the main thing in VPN. VPN provides a secure connection, and also it lowers the cost, as I told you before. So coming to disadvantages, disadvantages is that there is no standardization of the protocols used. That means different companies are using and they are providing VPN services, but they are not uh, following a standard like IEEE standard or something else. They are not following a particular standard, and they are using different standards for creating this VPN tunnel. So some company may be using L2TP standards, some may be using IPsec, some may be using PPTP. So therefore, we must use a same VPN company to connect the two companies. And also, if we are deploying this VPN in offices, then one must have an in-depth understanding of public network and its security issues, and must take a proper precautions in VPN deployment. Otherwise, uh, due to some problems, the internet connection may not be secure if the VPN connection is not properly installed on the client and server devices. And also VPN needs to accommodate complicated protocols. There are many complicated protocols like L2TP or IPsec. So VPN needs to use that protocols for creating a VPN tunnel. So is there any doubt in VPN?
Sahil, is there any prerequisite for you can say like any software requirements that our phone or desktop requires for accessing VPNs?
Yes, yes. We need to install a VPN software on our computer or on our smartphones to access a VPN network. If you go on Play Store, we can search for VPN and install a VPN on our phone or on our computer. There are many VPN products like Hotspot Shield VPN, etc. So you can use that.
Okay, so
Okay.
any like RAM or storage specifications are there except that?
No, as such, no. Only we need to have the storage space required by the application to install on our PC or on our phone. That's it.
Okay.
Rest all is taken care by that VPN software. Okay.
Yeah, okay, got that. Thanks.
Welcome. So coming to wired equivalent privacy or WEP protocol. This is basically used in our Wi-Fi in IEEE 802.11 WLAN systems, wireless LAN systems. This is the oldest protocol used for securing the Wi-Fi communications. So it was developed in 1999, but by today's standards, it is considered obsolete because it is having many privacy issues, and also the data, and also we can easily get the keys that are used for encryption. So that's why WEP protocol is not used nowadays. It was at deprecated at in 2004 or something, 2004. So that's why we are not using this. But still, if we go to cafes or if we go to airports, we can see that many access points or APs are using this WEP protocol. So that's why we need to study about this protocol, because this was the base in founding the some of the main protocols which are used like WPA2. So that's why we need to study about this protocol. So WEP protocols provides the same level of security like in WLAN systems when it was released. It uses stream cipher, that is RC4 algorithm for confidentiality and encryption, and it uses CRC, that is cyclic redundancy checksum value for integrity. That means the message should not be tampered. But as I said you all that it is not secure as per today's standard, because later on when it was released till 2004, many softwares were released to hack this type of Wi-Fi networks. So that's why nowadays WEP protocol is not used. So coming to the working part, basically uh, a key is used in the access point and also in our devices. Just like we enter the Wi-Fi password on our computer or phone to connect to the Wi-Fi network, same here a key is used. So we are using a key, and this key is shared key. So when this key is passed to the RC4 algorithm, it generates a key stream, and then this key stream is XORed with the plain text which we are sending. So suppose we are sending a hi message. So the hi message is our plain text, and the key that is used on our Wi-Fi, that key is used as an input in the RC4 algorithm, and that RC4 algorithm generates a key stream. Then this key stream is XORed with the plain text to get a ciphertext. And now this ciphertext is passed to the access point. And similarly, in the access point, it has to decrypt that. So in the receiver side, this ciphertext will get decrypted. So how it will get decrypted? First, it will get the ciphertext, and then it will XOR with the key stream, because both the routers will be having a same uh, key stream key string, and it will be passed in the RC4 algorithm to generate a same key stream. So if we XOR the ciphertext with the key stream value, then we will get the plain text. As XOR ka property is that only association properties used in uh, XOR. So basically, if you are doing this, that key is passed in RC4, every time the key stream will be same. So for uh, introducing some randomness in the key stream, we are using IV. IV is nothing but initialization vector. So in this initialization vector, it can be of 24 bits, and the key can be of 40 or 104 bits. So when this 24 bits IV is combined with key of 40 bits, we will get a 64-bit key. And if we are using 24 bits IV, and if we are using 24-bit IV with 104-bit key, then we will be getting 128-bit seed. So basically, there are two types of WEP implementation: 40-bit key implementation and 104-bit key implementation. Many will be saying about 164-bit or 128-bit, but it is the same, as this 24-bit is combined with 40 bits of key, then we will get 64 bits of seed. So some may say 40 bits का WEP का implementation है, और some may say 104 bit वाला WEP है. So basically two types of WEP protocol is there. So this IV is introduced to generate randomness in the key stream. So basically what we are doing is we are passing the initialization vector, and then a key is there. Then this 2 is sent to the RC4 algorithm as an input, and when the RC4 algorithm outputs the key stream, it is XORed with the plain text which we are sending. Suppose we are sending hi, then that key stream is XORed with the hi message. That is the plain text. In plain text, it will XOR, and this ciphertext will be passed to the receiver. So that only I have written here. Seed is equal to IV plus key. This seed equals to IV plus key, and RC4 takes seed as input. Here we can see it takes RC4 takes seed as input and generates a key stream as output, and this is then XORed with the plain text to get a ciphertext. Then this ciphertext is decrypted at the recipient's end. So in working, basically seed is passed to RC4, and RC4 then gives a key stream. For encryption, we are using key stream XOR with plain text that I have explained here. So that forms the ciphertext, which you all can see here. And also we are adding ICV, that is the integrity check value, which is basically using CRC32, cyclic redundancy, that I told you in this slide, or this one, cyclic redundancy checksum value. So basically, we are encrypting using RC4 algorithm, and we are adding an ICV value, that is integrity check value, so that the message can't be tampered when it is being sent over the wireless network. And in the decryption, in the receiver side, the plain text will get generated when the cipher text is XORed with the key stream. Just like I have said here, the cipher text will be XORed with the key stream to produce plain text. Now, you will say why WEP is weak. WEP is weak because there is no key management provided in WEP. That means if there is a company and suppose 10 employees are accessing a Wi-Fi network which is having WEP encryption, then the same key is used by the 10 people in the company. So if you are using the same key, then obviously the employees will be able to uh, check what the other employees are sending over that same network, over the same Wi-Fi network. So that's why the encryption here is defeated, because there is no key management in WEP. And then key stream must never be used for security. What it means is that IV space is too small. Like here you can see IV is only of 24 bits. It is very small value. It only takes about 5 hours to hack this type of WEP Wi-Fi networks. So it is because this IV is very small, only of 24 bits. That's why it must not be used. And also, I have said you that in 5 hours you can hack the Wi-Fi network, because of IV size is of 24 bits. Then 2 raised to 24 is a very small number, like 17 million. And 17 million means in 5,000 packets, after 5,000 packets, the uh, same key stream will be repeated. After 5,000 packets, the same key stream will be repeated, and then a hacker can use statistical analysis. There are many software, free software, open source software are available on the internet, and then hacker can use statistical analysis to get the key value of that Wi-Fi network that is using WEP. So just as I have said that IV is 24 bits, it is also transmitted as a clear text. Here in WEP, the IV is transmitted as clear text. So this is one of the main problem in WEP, that IV is transmitted as a clear text. So if you are sending IV as a clear text over this wireless network, and hacker can just wait and watch the connection and see for when that IV is sent as a clear text. So that hacker, when he will get this IV as a clear text, then he will use some software to decrypt that messages. And also there is no standard procedure of IV generation. Basically, many devices are using like this. IV is generated as 1 2 3 4 5 6, like this, linear wise. So if you are generating linear wise IV, then it is very easy for hackers to guess that the IV value must be 1 for the first packet and must be 2 for the second packet. So it is easy to guess the IV value. And if you are and if it is easy to guess the IV value, then it is easy to hack the Wi-Fi network that is using this WEP protocol. And as I have said that there are many open source tools, like we can see, we can search in Google for FMS attack. Using FMS attack, we can easily hack these Wi-Fi networks that are using WEP protocol for encryption. And also bit flipping attacks is possible. In flipping attacks, a few bits are changed by the attacker. Then it is very easy to recompute the ICV, that is integrity check value. Suppose I am sending iMessage through this WEP Wi-Fi network. To this Wi-Fi network that is using WEP for encryption. So hacker, what he will do, that he will use bit flipping attacks. Flipping attacks is that he will, what he will do is he will change one or two bits in my message that I have sent to this Wi-Fi network, and then he will easily recalculate the ICV integrity check value, and he will send his own packets to the Wi-Fi network, and that Wi-Fi network will uh, get to know that I have only sent that packet. So for example, I have sent hi, then hacker will change some bits in that message, and then it will send again hi. So two times uh, my hi message will be sent, rather than I should have sent only once that hi message, then two times that hi message will be sent. Or for example, I'm doing a bank transaction, so if I have sent 1000 rupees to a person, then hacker will use that same bit flipping attack and use that to send 1000 to some uh, to his account or something. For example, you can see this as a bit flipping attack. And also this WEP is using ICV, that is integrity check value. This ICV integrity check value is using CRC32 algorithm. So but it is good for noise detection, but it is not good as a cryptographic hash. So ICV is basically used for checking the integrity, that the message is not tampered, but this is good for noise detection. That means there are some changes on the message, it can detect that ICV, but it is not useful for calculating the cryptographic hash. That means if I have sent hi, then that message can be tampered by the attacker, and the hash value can be changed. But this ICV will be having some problems in calculating this hash value and detecting that whether the message has been changed is difficult in this ICV, that is CRC32. Also, WEP is weak against replay attacks. Just I have said that hackers can send his message to the Wi-Fi network. So these types of attack is known as replay attacks, and also fragmentation attacks can be done on these Wi-Fi networks that are using WEP. Also, the shared key authentication is worst. It should have been it reveals 128-bit key stream. Like previously, I had said that suppose a company is there and 10 employees are using the same keys, then the employees can get to know what each other employees are sending messages over that Wi-Fi network. So that's why that shared key authentication is one of the worst thing in WEP. And also these types of attacks can be done on WEP, such as IB reuse to decrypt traffic. Initialization vector reuse can be done to decrypt the traffic. And also replay attacks, like just like I have said, that hackers can send it their own message to the Wi-Fi network, and the Wi-Fi network will feel that I am sending the message. Also, using statistical attacks, hackers can get to know what is the key what is that IV value and the key value. Attackers can use to uh, attackers can use statistical analysis to generate this key stream, and it can use and it can do some analysis on this key stream in order to get this key value and initialization value. And also active attacks can be done on this WAP networks. Like I have said, that hackers can pass their messages onto the network, and the network will feel that I am sending that message. So hackers can inject traffic onto the wireless network that are using WEP for encryption. And also, previously I have said that bit flipping attack is possible. So using bit flipping attack, it can recover the key stream. That means hackers can recover the key stream. Thank you.